In October of last year, I was going through the final interview process with all the investment banks for a full-time position. And I went in for an interview with my dream job to stay here in Los Angeles with Citigroup. And I walked into the interview room, and they had a big, long table set up, and there were 6 or 7 other candidates there. And there were 2 from Harvard, 2 from Wharton, 1 from NYU, 1 from Columbia, and 1 from Chicago. And I kind of looked around the room and I thought, wow, this is going to be pretty intense. I'm in a dogfight here. And, you get kind of a little shudder of, wow, can I make this happen? Am I really in this class? And I was driving home probably 10 minutes after the interview. I thought everything had gone well. And the managing director called me up and he said, we didn't even have to deliberate. You're our number 1 choice. And it still gives me chills to think about it now. But going in, I didn't really understand that UCLA was in that class, and that that's how we were thought of in the business world. And really, to have 2.5 years pay off like that was amazing.
So I think my favorite moment was maybe September of beginning of our second year in school. My wife was actually away on business for a brief period of time, and I had my 9-month-old to myself. It was just at the beginning of the school year, but we still had group projects to do. But I can't. It's really not realistic for me to leave the house, and I kind of need him, at the house if I'm going to participate at all. So my whole study group actually pulled together, and they drove to my house in Redondo Beach, and for 2 weeks we did all of our group study meetings, at my house, which was a big sacrifice for them. I never mentioned a thing to me about it. Really became kind of a fun thing that we did. Maybe the third time that the guys were over, I looked over at my son, who was just sort of like, about 9 months old, kind of just in the mix of the study group, kind of playing around. We were kind of ignoring him, and I look over and he's standing. He's never stood before in his life, and here he is standing for the first time in the middle of our study group. So that was kind of a huge first for a dad, and I'm sharing it, which might seem kind of odd. I'm sharing it with these folks from school, but it's really not odd because these people really become your family. You spend so much time with them, and all those guys in that group are really, I consider them among my best friends. So it was actually a great group to share that moment with. So I think that's my favorite experience.
I've had several great experiences here. During the program, I've gotten married during the first year. The second year, I had my first child and got a job, so I made the transition out of the military easy for me. I think the biggest thing that gave me the most, it made me feel rewarded, was the fact that coming back your third year after spending the whole second year working to try to get an internship, you can take the responsibility to help train the next year's class of students that are trying to do the same thing you are. And there were a few of us, all of these guys helped out too. We helped do mock interviews for the prospective interns, and at the end of the time, we saw, I'd probably say 90% of those guys got internships, the guys who really put their time in, and it was rewarding for us to see that happen.